Businesses provide revenue to fund government through the collection of sales tax, real estate tax, and fees. Government provides the framework through its laws and regulations under which businesses must operate. Because of this unique relationship between business and government, we have invited the candidates running for the Village President of Lombard here today to answer questions and inform our members of their positions relative to the business community in Lombard. We are honored today to have the following candidates with us today: Keith Gianorio, Moon Khan, and John Novak. We have 7 questions that we'll be asking today in random order. We're pulling them out of a fishbowl for each candidate. Each question is based on issues that are important to the Lombard business community. Each candidate will have the same questions, just not necessarily in the same order. In the interest of staying within our time constraints and in order to get everyone back to work in a timely manner, each candidate will have 2 minutes to answer each question and will be given a 30-second warning. Our hope is that by adhering to this format, each candidate will have a chance to answer each question. Anyone who has ever attended one of our morning network events will recognize this. Our College Aid Planner sponsored cowbell. If the candidate goes over their allotted time limit, the cowbell will ring, reminding them that their time is up. Now, at Lilacia AM Networking, they only have 30 seconds. You guys have 2 minutes, so shouldn't be a problem. Our moderator will be Lombard Chamber Board President Joe Orsolini, and we will not be entertaining any questions from the audience at this time, but each of the candidates will be available for some questions afterwards. So let me go get my timer ready, and we'll begin.
And gentlemen, if it's okay with you, we'll just do alphabetical order unless you guys want to do scissors, paper, rock, or something. Okay, first question is for Keith Gianorio. What do you feel are the strengths and weaknesses of the Lombard business community?
Okay, thanks, Joe. The way I'd like to answer this is just look out in the room. As far as strengths, I would say this is our #1 strength. All these people here that are involved and engaged in the business community and the village, all our entrepreneurs, our risk takers, that would be my #1 answer to that. For strengths, and then obviously the brick and mortar would be Yorktown Mall, our emerging downtown, and our Butterfield and Roosevelt Road corridors. Now weaknesses, when I thought about this question, I would say right now our #1 weakness, and I don't believe it's necessarily any fault of the village chamber, would be the glut we have in our office parks with vacancies. But again, I think that's tuned to the way the economy is going. And when the economy, and we are slowly seeing a recovery, there I think you'll see a recovery in that office glut.
Thank you.
No cowbell.
No cowbell. Good job. A little closer to me, okay. Next up is Moon Khan. Moon, what role should local government play in fostering business in the Lombard area?
Ladies and gentlemen, business owners and dreamers, entrepreneurs, issues that are common to most businesses in Lombard would relate to property tax, business brand exposure, streamlining services for businesses at Village Hall, simple, standardized, and speedy approval process for new businesses, construction or code changes, and incentives for new business establishment. I believe we need to provide very simple process for approval for permits, and also to facilitate the business opening for the new businesses. We should not use the host of safety everywhere. We have noticed that our businesses get roadblocks, and when the inspectors and the village code people come there, they don't basically respect the vision of business owners. We need to change that. We have to bring a complete new sensitivity to the village hall. We have to make sure that we respect those people who have come in the village to invest in the village. There are a lot of things which I will bring later on. We are not doing a good job in terms of being a kind of cheerleaders for our businesses. Thank you.
Thank you, Moon. Next up, John Novak. John, what do you think can be done to help with revitalization of the downtown TIF district?
First of all, hearing the name Dick Arnold reminds me that he was the principal of my grade school when I was in grade school. They didn't have speed dial then, but I can assure you if they did, my mother would have been on it. Now my question is in regard to
the TIF district.
The TIF
downtown TIF district. Revitalization.
Should it be expanded or not? That's the question.
What do you think can be done to help with the revitalization of the downtown TIF district?
First of all, I think the downtown TIF district is starting to do very well. I've seen some good improvements there. We need to keep doing what we're doing. I was at a function about a week ago where they engaged 80 individuals to visit 10 different establishments. They did it in less than 3 hours. It was called Bunko. But they all had a good time. They all gathered afterwards. It was a fun thing, and it seems to me that kind of bringing people into the downtown area is going to continue to encourage development there. We've got some good support systems in place. There are some good properties available there, and I'd like to see continued what's going on there now. Thank you.
Back to Keith Tenorio. And our first repeat question. Keith, what role should local government play in fostering business in the Lombard area?
Okay, well, the local government needs to be proactive. It needs to be in recruiting businesses in, but also being able to listen to the residents and and the business community to see what the needs and wants are of the residents and other businesses in the area. The different examples of fostering businesses into the area are different ways of doing it. I'm thinking of examples like Lombard Toyota a few years back with a tax rebate program that allowed them to expand and stay in Lombard. I'm thinking of Praga, where we did the forgivable loan program with them. A great business, a great restaurant, really is becoming an anchor in downtown Lombard. And that was an example of where the village and a business worked together, so they didn't leave, expanded, and now you're seeing the fruits of that. There's so much. I guess you could always go back to where the role of the community development department is in that type of question. I think they're vital. I believe the chamber is vital. Groups like LTC, obviously, you can see how vital they are now to that area. But I think it's all about a relationship between different groups and businesses, recruiting and keeping existing businesses here. Thank you.
Keith. Question 2 for Moon Khan. Another repeat. Oh no, it's a new one. What do you think the relationship between the village and the chamber should look like?
The relationship with the village and Chamber of Commerce should be kind of partnership. I will appoint one person on each village committee and commission from the business community, particularly on the recommendation of the Chamber of Commerce. I would like to attend the monthly luncheon meeting of the chambers regularly. My personal phone number and contact number will be always available. I want to see village as a cheerleader for the Chamber of Commerce. Should be available all the time. and it should not be geared to only the managers and inspectors and everything. Even the president of the village board should be ready to address issues, should be ready to take calls and be very proactive. Right now, a lot of things are happening in the village, and believe me, they are not being addressed. I'm just talking about the garbage collection issue. I see that a lot of businesses are suffering from garbage collection issue. We are charging more than what it can be charged. A lot of businesses have told me that they can get at a cheaper rate if they call individually. They can negotiate a better rate than what waste management is charging right now. We cannot rob Peter to pay Paul. What we are doing, we raise service fees to expand and bloat the village bureaucracy. We are not in the business of generating employment at the village hall. We are supposed to provide services at the cheapest rate. And for that, we have to make sure, I was talking to somebody, Chase Bank. I hope, is anybody from Chase Bank here? When they started their own construction on Roosevelt, they had hard time. They wanted to have a bigger facade over there. But the village said, no, you cannot do that. On the day of inauguration, they wanted to have a lot of balloons over there and a lot of, something. Village said, you cannot do this. Sorry.
Our first cowbell. It's okay. Okay.
Broke the ice. It's good. We've all had it.
John, how do you feel about the mix that Lombard has between retail, industrial, and hospitality and professional services? Do you think there's any areas that need to be increased or decreased, and if so, why?
I can't think of a single product or service that I can't find within the boundaries of Lombard. And we're expanding the right type of businesses in downtown Lombard, in my opinion. We have a unique situation that we have 4 east-west corridors, starting with North Avenue for industrial areas, St. Charles Road for some of the more unique and boutique areas. We've got Roosevelt Road for a lot of the chain companies. And then we've got Butterfield Road, Yorktown, and those areas. There are a lot of north-south streets in there as well, with some of the spot shopping centers that are doing quite well. So I think the mix is good, and I would be in favor of letting the free market determine where the growth and with what kind of growth is going to expand. Thank you.
John? Dr. Keith? Keith, what do you think can be done to help with the revitalization of the downtown TIF district?
Well, the board, I believe it was last year, I don't know exactly when, but we do have an approved plan in place that we are implementing. I think you can start, we've already seen the changes down there. As far as, specifically, the UP walkway will really help, being an old park district alum. I always felt like the tracks became a barrier, and by connecting the two, that really will open up another section of the downtown with the library, Lylacia. That really, I think what you're going to see there is a nice steady traffic flow between the two sides. I would like to think outside the box on this one a little bit. Just an idea I'm throwing out there, and it's just an idea, but the old theater site, as it sits vacant, I drive by there at least a half a dozen times a day, and an idea that it's not mine, just had read a little bit on it, was that the city of Joliet is bringing in a college into their downtown. Now, our footprint there right now is not that large, but that would be an idea where we have instant foot traffic for our downtown restaurants, our businesses. You may take a hit on the sales tax, but I think what you'd make up on that population going out into our downtown and into our other business, hopefully go a little bit further down the street and grab a pizza from me. But again, just an idea to think outside the box. But I think we stay with our game plan that we have in place. And I'm very excited of what's going on downtown. Thank you.
Moon. Much of the focus has been on the two primary business districts, the downtown area and the Yorktown Center. What do you think the village can do to cultivate and showcase other business districts in Lombard?
Well, the emphasis has been really given to, most of the time people talk about Yorktown Center and downtown area. We generally don't talk about Roosevelt area too. That area is also extremely important for our economy. And I would say we have to encourage, we have to encourage more, I would say more high-scale restaurants in that area so that there should be some more traffic as we have on Butterfield side. That's where I see a lot of empty spaces right now by Ultra Foods, Street Mall. There are like Burger King is that area is empty. Also we have Country Buffet is vacant. About like 30 to 40% businesses are vacant over there. We have to promote aggressively maybe this high scale restaurants in that area.
Thank you. Next up, John. Should the TIF area be expanded? Why or why not?
The simple answer would be not yet. I think the TIF district is established to assist economic growth, especially in areas that need some bringing up, whether it's infrastructure, drainage, or other types of problems. When entering a TIF district agreement, the public entity is entering into an agreement with a private developer, not to guarantee success of the private developer, but to at least mitigate some of the downturns that might happen. So it makes it a more level playing field. I think we haven't yet worked through what we have now with our TIF district, so I would not be in favor of expanding it at this point.
Another repeat. Keith, how do you feel about the mix that Lombard has between retail, industrial, hospitality, and professional services? Do you think any areas need to be increased or decreased, and if so, why?
Sorry, I've had a scratchy throat for 3 days, so I have to keep getting my water. I'm happy with the mix we have between the retail, industrial, hospitality, and professional services. Lombard is unique because of how those areas are laid out. And what I mean is they're not infringing on each other. They're not completely on top of each other. They work in concert with each other, which really makes Lombard a unique place to be as far as in business here. As far as what I'd like to see, and from what I've being out and talking with the residents a lot lately, is a more of like a warehouse store, possibly in one of our open spaces, and one that just became available. I know the footprint might not be the right size right now, but something that I'm looking at, something like a Sam's, a Costco, a Myers, a Woodlands, possibly. But something like that, as far as a niche need we have, that's what I see, that's something that we could, try to recruit into town. Thank you.
Moon, how do you feel about the mix that Lombard has between retail, industrial, hospitality, and professional services? Do you think there are any areas that need to be increased or decreased, and if so, why?
Didn't I answer that?
May have thought so, but trying to split them up, it seems like it all hit at the same time.
Well, I like the mix whatever we have right now. Our problem is not that do we have right mix or not. Our problem is how to chaperone the businesses. That's our main problem. We have to have a policy that we have to make Lombard as the business destination of DuPage County. We need to create a complete new perception at the village hall that all of you are, who are business owners here, you are the bread earners. You are the tax generators. So whatever we can do, we have to do. We have to throw a red carpet for you, we have to do that. And that focus is not there. We have code enforcement officer. I would say we should call them business associates. They just go out and enforce the code. That's not businesses want. They are not supposed to be like Supreme Court justices just to interpret the laws. They should be facilitating the business, how to improve upon, how to, how to save money, and that's where we lack. I would say that we need, as I said, I'm just reinforcing my own point, that we have to have a complete new thinking from a business owner point of view. We have to put on a hat, we have to put on a different pair of glasses to look at the businesses. And I have outlined a lot of points on my website. Please go on my website. It's called moonkhan.com. Moonkhan.com. It has all the points. You can go there and see. And you will find that I have not hesitated in opening up my views for evaluation and reviews. I'm very open and bold in that. So please go there and try to find out where I stand. Thank you.
Thank you. John, what do you think the relationship between the village and the chamber should look like?
Seeing all of you out there interested in village government gives me a pause to think that we're going in the right direction. However, I think village government has a duty to give to you a stable government that you can count on. Right now, we've had about 5 months of what I would call infighting or side-taking or whatever you want to call it. It doesn't do us any good image-wise. I hear it from other communities. People who don't live here are talking about our community and its problems. In addition to that, we're talking about a reputation of our community. We had a AA bond rating. We now have BBB. The simple result of that is that the village had to go outside of Lombard to a neighboring community in order to borrow money, and in doing so they had to secure it. Now that's not the kind of reputation that we need. So I think the village needs to clean up its act and give you guys a fair shake, and we can do business together. We want your sales tax revenue, you want our support, that can happen. Thank you.
Keith, much of the focus has been on the two primary business districts, the downtown area and the Yorktown Center. What do you think the village can do to cultivate and showcase the other business districts in Lombard?
Well, again, I would harken back to our great chamber, our community development department, which, some people may not realize that they do a lot of recruiting. They find needs within the community and seek out businesses to come here and open up. Another thing they also do, which some people might not realize, is the work with an existing business to expand. And, Moon was talking about Roosevelt Road. I believe that is a prime area that we have now that we should really begin to focus on, and to get restaurants in there, to get some more retail in there, and go in and the existing business and have a discussion. What are the needs? What are the wants? What are the disappointments? What are the roadblocks? I've been my own boss. I've opened my own business. I belong to the chamber. I'm on my 19th year. I'm a business owner. I understand every day what most of you go through and what you have to go through just to meet a payroll. I know what it's like to wake up at 3 in the morning and know that you have a set of bills and you're just praying that revenue is going to come in just to cover that, let alone put a couple of bucks in your pocket. So that dialogue, I believe, that's That's my life, and it has been my whole adult life. So that's what I would focus on. Thank you.
Moon, should the TIF area be expanded? Why or why not?
I would say no. Let's manage what we have. And, I always believe that supersizing is not the solution of everything and of nothing, basically. So we should not go beyond whatever we have. We should focus on what we have right now. And we have to work with, as Keith had just mentioned, with the businesses who are suffering. We have to spend time with them, provide them incentives, be their cheerleaders, and provide incentives as much as possible. That's what we need to do. TIF is a good, attractive package, and it sounds good, but in reality, generally you rob the other parts of the budget too. At this time, we are not in the boom period, so we should not get involved in that process. Thank you.
John, what role should local government play in fostering business in the Lombard area?
I think there's two divergent answers to this. One is stay out of the way and let commerce and industry run its own show. And the other one is to be as supportive when it comes to building permits, the approval of your plans, your building plans, so forth and so on. I think any good business that has a good product or business and a good plan can do well in Lombard. The village should be supportive where they're to be supportive and hold back when they're hold back. Like any relationship, whether it's parent-child or friend and friend. You start out one way and you grow with it. And where you can be supportive, you add to that. Where you need to pull back a little bit, you pull back a little bit. So it's a partnership, and I think it can work well.
Keith, I'll let you finish your drink there.
Thank you.
Keith, should the TIF area be expanded? Why or why not?
Well, I'll make it a hat trick on this answer. I don't believe so. The TIF is the time period on it has been extended twice. And I would think right now what you're seeing are the benefits from the TIF in the downtown. I'm assuming when the question was posed, expanding, that would mean coming south on Main. I just assumed that and did a little survey of that area. That's where my business is located. I think to expand the TIF in that direction, it's not needed. I would never say never. I think that the TIF is an issue that you should always have in your back pocket. You can revisit it. But right now, I would just let it be the way it is.
Thank you. Thank you. Moon, what do you feel are the strengths and weaknesses of the Lombard business community?
Well, the businesses, the strength, I would say that we have a very vibrant community. We have diverse entities. We have people from different walks of life who have decided to invest in the village of Lombard. There is a diversity, and it's very good. Diversity of people, diversity of businesses, and that's very good. But at the same time, as I told you earlier, that I would say that we have to think about that we want prosperity. We don't want poverty. We want to live in the 21st century and not in the 19th century. I was at a Plan Commission meeting a couple of weeks ago when there was a proposal for York Township expansion and remodeling and everything. And most of the time people just talk about, do we need enough lights or not? Or is it going to hurt the traffic? Or it is going to create all those things? If we have to create, if it is needed, neon signs like Times Square in the Yorktown Mall, I would say go for it. Because we need people to come in. This is 21st century. We cannot live in the medieval period. So I would like to see very aggressive approach to help out the businesses. And that's where I want to see that we should do whatever possible. You guys are dreamers, and the role of the village is to bring your dream come true. And that's where we have to take initiative, and we have to work hard for that. Thank you.
John, much of the focus has been on the two primary business districts, the downtown area and the Yorktown Center. What do you think the village can do to cultivate and showcase the other business districts in Lombard?
I think possibly if you take the Yorktown Management Group Merchants Association, bring it together with Lombard Town Center, and bring in some representatives from the other areas, sit down and see what direction they can project for those areas. There's a fellow with a pizza place on Main Street that's got a pretty good sign thing going. That might be expandable. At any rate, I think also we could take advantage of Lombard Pride, which is a four-time-a-year publication, and showcase some of these, whether we do one area each quarter or we showcase new businesses in those areas, but we need to be supportive of all of them.
We're down to our last round of questions. I want to thank you, gentlemen, for your concise answers. Unfortunately, we haven't had too much of an opportunity to use the College Aid Planners cowbell.
So, if you want, Joe, I could just
more cowbell.
Talk.
Okay. Final question, Keith. What do you think the relationship between the village and the chamber should look like?
This for me is an easy one. I would stay the course. I think the relationship has been great. Like I said, I've been a member of the chamber for 19 years. They've been very helpful to me. As village president, I would remain the liaison between the board, or the village, and the chamber. I would want to be an ambassador for the chamber, because I think Moon may have said that the village does need a promoter, a cheerleader, if you will. And that's exactly what I would do. And I think by being a small business owner, I know exactly questions to ask, a potential business that's coming into town. And I think that type of experience would really pay off dividends. Thank you.
Thank you. Final question for you, Moon. What do you think can be done to help? What do you think can be done to help with the revitalization of the downtown TIF district?
Very good question. I would come up with a complete new idea, and maybe some people will not like it, but I am a person who always speaks up and speaks out. I would like to see a parking place at the open space where we used to have old DuPage theater for commuters and also for downtown visitors. Because if we provide a very good parking space over there, that is going to help the downtown, and also a lot of commuters, they experience a lot of problems. And it will be combination of things over there. It's not just the parking center. On the first floor, we can have storefronts. We can also put, if it is possible on a small scale or something, a rec center, because Lombard does not have anything like that. And if we provide that multi-story building, I believe that is going to be very helpful. Also, I would like to say in that area, if anybody wants to start a new business, we would like to waive the permit fee for the new businesses. Also, we would like to put together a one-stop window where anybody applies for any kind of new businesses. We should provide all the assistance in a very timely manner. There should be like 30 days or 60 days time slot, and we should provide whatever they need, and that's how we should do. The last thing I would again request you that I have a very extensive detailed information on my website. Please go on my website, moonkhan.com, and you will find all the information over there. I'm very accessible all the time. My cell phone number is on my card. Everything is there. And thank you so much for this opportunity. I would really make all of you proud. I am not part of any of the two warring factions. I am the only independent person. I will make you proud, and I'm going to make proud all of you because of your business here. I will be your cheerleader. Thank you very much.
Another cowbell. John, final question. What do you feel are the strengths and weaknesses of the Lombard business community?
I think the strengths are our consumer base. I think it's our location. We have a good network and good areas to develop new businesses. We have low taxes in Lombard. Our property values, the purchase prices now are lower than they've ever been before. So if you use those 4 corridors, I think they become a very good strength. As far as weakness, I've already touched on that. We have a reputation in this community that has been growing the wrong way for the last 4 or 5 months. I'd like to see that change. And that, in and of itself, in my opinion, would do more to generate good commerce and industry and profits for the people who engage in it than any other single issue that we've talked about. Thank you.
Hey, gentlemen, on behalf of the Chamber of Commerce, you can give a wrap-up, Yvonne? Okay. On behalf of the Chamber, we'd like to thank you, gentlemen, for being here today and answering our questions. We'd like to remind everybody to vote. What is the election day?
April 9th.
April 9th. So make sure you guys all go out and take advantage of this opportunity to set the direction for the next village president.
Thank you all for coming. Thank you so much to Harry, Carries, Enrique. Your group is great. Food was good. Grab a quick